Gowdy drops big hints about FISA Memo, Dossier Funding, FBI Misuse, and Hillary's relationship to Steele. While lawmakers have been incredibly mum over the specifics of a 4-page FISA memo containing allegations of FBI and DOJ malfeasance against then-candidate Donald Trump and his team, Rep. Trey Gowdy appeared on Fox News Sunday where he dropped the most telling breadcrumbs about the contents of the memo to date. If you think your viewers want to know whether or not the dossier was used in court proceedings, whether or not it was vetted before it was used, whether or not it's ever been vetted, if you are interested in who paid for the dossier, if you are interested in Christopher Steele's relationship with Hillary Clinton and the Democratic National Committee, then, yes, you will want the memo to come out, Trey Gowdy. Do you want to know that the Democratic National Committee paid for material that was never vetted, that was included in a court proceeding? Gowdy asked rhetorically. Do you want to know whether or not the primary source in these court proceedings had a bias against one candidate? Do you want to know whether or not he said he'd do anything to keep that candidate from becoming president? While it's not clear who the primary source is, it's possible that Gowdy is referring to Christopher Steele, the former MI6 spy who assembled the dossier, or senior Russian officials which the Trump-Russia dossier heavily relied on for information. Perhaps the Russians preferred Mrs. Clinton over Mr. Trump, as the former came equipped with a pay-for-play charity that was utilized during the Kremlin's purchase of uranium-1, giving Russia control over approximately 20% of United States uranium. Bill Clinton, notably, also met with Vladimir Putin at his house the same day he gave a Moscow speech for a cool $500,000 to an investment bank which then upgraded uranium-1 stock. A close associate of Bill Clinton who was directly involved in the Moscow trip and spoke on condition of anonymity, described to The Hill the circumstances surrounding how Bill Clinton landed a $500,000 speaking gig in Russia and then came up with the list of Russians he wanted to meet. The documents don't indicate what decision the State Department finally made. But current and former aides to both Clintons told The Hill on Thursday the request to meet the various Russians came from other people, and the ex-president's aides and state decided in the end not to hold any of the meetings with the Russians on the list. Bill Clinton instead got together with Vladimir Putin at the Russian leader's private homestead. The friends said Hillary Clinton had just returned in late March 2010 from an official trip to Moscow where she met with both Putin and Medvedev. The president's speaker's bureau had just received an offer from Renaissance Capital to pay the former president $500,000 for a single speech in Russia. The Hill. In comparison to the egregious pay-for-play facility the Clintons offered Russia, the FBI allegedly relied on the unverified 34-page Trump-Russia dossier to obtain a FISA surveillance warrant against one-time Trump campaign advisor, Carter Page. Prior to the FISA warrant, GOP congressional investigators also believe the dossier was used to launch the original investigation into collusion between Russia and the Trump campaign before Robert Mueller was appointed as special counsel. Rep. Gowdy, however, declined to confirm whether the dossier was used to obtain the FISA warrant, noting that it was classified at this point and he's not allowed to discuss it. Gowdy also said in the interview that he suggested the memo be reviewed by the FBI and the DOJ prior to its release. However, he says that the document contains information already provided by these agencies, noting there's nothing in this memo the department is not already aware of. If you love your news from one sexy ass robot, then like and sub, then hit up my big fat bell.